Today I'm going to be replacing some of the battery cables on my truck, and they come with instructions for which one's which. We've got our big crossover cable, and we got both negatives as well as all the auxiliary negatives to replace as well. Looks like they sent us some terminals, protectors, and military style clamps, which is going to be a big upgrade. So let's take a look under the hood and scout that out real quick. Here we have the one negative that's going to be replaced. The only issue with this one, actually there's a couple issues with this one. I did modify it to fit tighter, which I don't really like. And this part right here is exposed. The protective sleeve is sort of pulled away. And then we've got our two auxiliary negatives here. It's very tough to see in the sunlight. We got thunderstorms coming too. Those two are both going to be replaced as well. Over here, this crossover cable will be replaced, and you can see how that's a bit rusted and stuff. It did not clean up very well when I cleaned these cables the other day. This one is going to stay. This is a very complicated setup here. This actually goes to the starter. I think it's a ground. This goes to the fuse box, and it branches off and goes down to the engine block somewhere, and I think that may power the ECM. And this goes to the starter. So this is very complicated, and I wanted to avoid replacing this one. But this one's in the best shape out of all four. So the crossover cable, you can see here, it's inside there, and it runs all along here, and it comes over and goes right into this end. So we're going to be switching to military style. So this end is also going to have a eyelet on it, and it's just going to connect right here. So you actually don't have to remove this part on the military style. You just unscrew this and take the cables off individually. These are going to stay where they are, and this one's going to be replaced. It was also modified by me. This one's been modified by me to fit tighter, and it's kind of dinged up too. And we've got our auxiliary ground here that'll be replaced as well. Let me explain something about the crossover cable. If this crossover cable has gone bad, it's going to be good, at least for my peace of mind, that we get this replaced. But what'll happen is this battery won't get all the current from the passenger side, which is where the alternator's charging from. So you're not getting the full charge. So that battery over there ends up overcharged. This battery over here ends up having to shoulder more of the burden, especially, you know, since the truck starts off as battery primarily. You want the current to be able to flow through the crossover cable and down there so that both batteries contribute to the startup. And since my truck's been cranking a little bit slow lately, and I've been concerned about that, these are brand new batteries too. That's why we're doing this replacement, besides the fact that I've been wanting to do this for over a year now. Here we are on the driver's side doing the grounds. This is one of the auxiliary grounds that goes down to the frame. The other auxiliary ground goes up just to the body of the truck right up top. And the final one goes down to the block, the big one. So I just want to let you know about this location in the wheel well for one of the auxiliary grounds. Okay, I've decided to start with putting on the military style clamps. So these clamps will go on, and you'll never have to take them off until you change batteries. All of your power and grounds and stuff will go on these posts and get tightened down with lock washers. So when you do disconnect your batteries, you just unscrew this, pull the cables off, and leave the connector on there. So these should not get worn out, and also your battery post shouldn't get worn out either. So we're doing two over there and one over here. And with these posts here, which I like these posts, it's tough to orient them. There's really only one position they can go, and that's like this. To avoid coming in contact with that post. I mean, they can go on their side as well, which I did with the positive over there because I had to for the crossover cable. What I'm probably going to end up doing is ended up putting the replacement crossover cable back on here. As bad as that kind of looks, I'll try and clean that up as best as I can. It's possible that I may be able to still use this slot, but I may decide I'd rather have a direct contact. I'll debate about that when I get to that step. Here I'm showing you the location of the large ground that goes to the block. This is the oil pan here. Fan and pulleys are right in front of me. Power steering bolt is right there. Don't mix it up. They're both 18 millimeters. But that one's on seriously tight. So you should know if you're pulling tight, you might be on the wrong bolt. That's the right bolt. The one behind it, that's got the ground wire on it. So I had dropped one of the bolts, and I thought it got stuck up here in the wheel well. So how to get the wheel well off 5/16? A bunch of these little things are annoying, but turns out the bolt dropped to the ground and I just didn't see it. So I just took this thing off for nothing. Okay, after that 20-minute delay with the wheel well, all three are hooked up at their grounded locations. This one's on the frame, this one's on the body, and the big one down here is on the block. So we're going to leave them all unconnected, and we're going to do the crossover cable next. Alright, here we've got our old crossover and new one. I think the new one is thicker. I think it's a 2/0, and this may be a 1/0. So that's a little bit of an upgrade. The loom is a bit broken, but I think I'll still be able to use it for this new cable. Okay, here is our last ground. It's on the engine block, right under the oil filter, you can see there. It's a tough spot to get to. Another 18mm will take care of you there. I actually, since these are on pretty tight, I got somewhere around me here an extension with a deep socket to make it easier. Coming back to the incident that occurred here, I was torquing down one of these bolts, I think this one here on the other side, and my ratchet fell out of my hand and just dropped right onto the negative terminal. So it actually caused the most damage to the ratchet itself, which no longer really works that well. Like the thing you push in to take a socket on or off is jammed, but it's still, you can still turn the lever, but it doesn't stick as good as you used to. So I actually used it to finish the job. But yeah, this very dangerous situation occurred there, and this should not be compromised. I think the whole inside of it is in okay shape. You know, no damage in there, no damage to the batteries, and this side also survived pretty well. This side actually fared rather well. Anyways, they're all hooked up. Also, they gave us a pretty generous amount of cable here. This is 82 inches. And we probably could have got away with 80, 79 inches. And also, there was a loom on this one because it actually contacts with a turbo down there. So I just put the loom back on. And I'll probably actually put a little electrical tape on there like I did right here.